So, tell me why you're here.
Well, Doc, I just find myself at any given moment, every day, thinking about 3 women that I've been with in my life. And I'm just wondering if that means something. And since this is something that never happened before, I figured I'd come and talk to you about it.
Sometimes I do think about it.
What's so special about these women?
I do think about it sometimes.
Well,
sometimes I do think about it.
I'll be here for a minute, but I can tell you about this one girl.
Beautiful brown skin, pretty brown eyes. Always looking like she got a lot on her mind. Always looking like she wanna change the world. Cause to me she's such a beautiful girl. Curious, I wanted to know about her. Cause to me there's something special about her. And sometimes I wondered about her. And sometimes I did think about her. I finally met her in senior high, so I wasn't gonna let her pass me by. So we met each other, talked to each other, did more talking than we got together. We had our times we loved and hated each other, but we still knew how to relate to each other. Nowadays we don't talk much to each other, but now and again sometimes I do think about her. Sometimes I do think about her. I do think about her sometimes now. Sometimes I do think about her. Sometimes I do, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do think about her. I do think about her sometimes now. Sometimes I do think about her. Sometimes I do, sometimes I do. Black coffee, cool as a summer breeze. Great voice, sounded sexy to me. I remember when I met her the first time. I couldn't get her out of my mind. She was an analyst and loved to dress. Matter of fact, the best in the office. Said good morning to everyone in the office, but I never socialized in the morning. So she walked right up to my desk, knocked on my glass, called me out. She said, what's up? She was a classy lady, sassy lady, nice set of lips that drove me crazy. We met up at a bar for some drinks. I couldn't stop looking at those lips. The lipstick was so exquisite, I tasted the lips. Mwah. Sometimes I do think about her. Sometimes I do think about her. I do think about her sometimes now. Sometimes I do think about her. Sometimes I do, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do think about her. I do think about her sometimes now. Sometimes I do think about her. Sometimes I do, sometimes I do. Have you ever had a college sweetheart? Let me tell you about this sweetheart. For real. She's the reason I stayed in college. True. Beautiful smile, she don't want no problems. Nope. Open to new things, loved having fun, really loved trees, just loved to be, just loved to watch movies, Grey's Anatomy, Discovery Channel and VH1. I never forget when I lived off campus. I didn't have a car, but she didn't even care. She wanted to walk with me, and we talked all the way to my house. Great conversation. Although she was born in the States, she had the soul of a woman that was born in the islands. I gotta take her to the British Virgin Islands. What more can I say? I always think about her. Sometimes I do think about her. I do think about her sometimes now. Sometimes I do think about her. Sometimes I do, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do think about her. I do think about her sometimes now. Sometimes I do think about her. Sometimes I do, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do think about her. I do think about her sometimes now. Sometimes I do think about her. Sometimes I do, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do think about her. I do think about her sometimes now. Sometimes I do think about her. Sometimes I do, sometimes I do.
You think about me, huh?
Yeah, I know I do. Yeah. Oh, don't laugh at me.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
You wanna dance? Uh-huh. Alright. Alright, say it with me.
You do.
Okay.
You do.
Alright. Yeah.
You do.
Okay.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I do.
Sing, okay.
You do.
Alright, do it, do it.
You do.
Now keep doing your thing. might be an MC too, huh?